Welcome to my Media Museum and episode 44 of our A to Z sorted 45 RPM vinyl records collection. And here we've got what I consider to be a special addition to my collection, and that's Striper doing Honestly from the To Hell with the Devil album, 1986. And the B-side of this one had their sing-along song on it, which was also off of that same album. And, I know there was some controversy at the time about a metal band, or somewhat metal band. They did a lot of ballads and stuff, slow songs, but yeah, they still hair band, definitely, from the 80s. And there was some controversy about them claiming to be Christian, and they were one of the early bands. There were some other ones like Barren Cross and Mass and some other bands, but I did get into Striper. The Yellow and the Black Attack was their first album. You can see I got the cassette there. Soldiers Under Command was this next one from '85. And then in '86, they brought us To Hell with the Devil. And the reason I broke these tapes out and want to show you is because I have the exclusive limited edition one that came out at the time. And they put this little note here about the cover and what they were trying to do and trying to avoid controversy about it. In fact, let's pop this sucker out of here so we can get you a good view of it without any glare, because it is a lot less common to see this version of it than it is to see the standard version that you run across rather frequently. And the vinyl here was a picture sleeve, so we can show you a nice shot of the band there, and a really cool clip of the logo on the back. And yeah, Striper's still around. Michael Sweet still doing some stuff. Check out the Sweet and Lynch if you're a fan. They did 2 albums together as of date, and they're both really good. I enjoyed them quite a bit, so I'm very happy to have a Striper vinyl in my collection. And briefly here, I want to say that while I was looking for that Striper tape to show you, I took time to look up, and Stop Dragging My Heart Around was only released on 45 vinyl by Stevie Nicks. It wasn't released by Tom Petty as well. It did start out as a Tom Petty song, and then Stevie was brought in just to add vocals over it, and then they made it a duet between her and Tom. But originally, it was a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers song that got converted into a duet with Stevie, and then came out on her album, and I guess is considered to be more her song than anything. So just to clarify that, I thought I had a 45 vinyl by Tom of that song, and I don't. I think I'm confusing it with another song. Don't ask me why, but Don't Come Around Here No More is the one I think I got confused with. But anyways, moving on, we've got Strawberry Alarm Clock doing Incense and Peppermint, doo-doo-doo-doo. And the B-side to that one was a song called The Birdman of Alcatraz. Not Alcatraz, Alcatraz. Okay, and what a beautiful, looks like the day it was made, piece of vinyl we got there. Next up, we've got a really peculiar one, and it's a promo even, so promo copy not for sale, you'll see there. But it's Stu Phillips doing his disco version of the theme from Battlestar Galactica. A lot of sci-fi films around the Star Wars period got disco versions of their theme songs put out. I think Mecca or something like that did the Star Wars theme song in disco, and I have had that one in the past and shown it as well. But this one's interesting because it's got the long version running 538 on the A side, or possibly the B side. They don't clarify A from B here. And a 4-minute version called the disco short version on the opposite side. So this is an interesting listen, going back to 1978. And if you like this kind of thing, this is a really special piece of vinyl to have. I put it in my novelty records collection as far as I'm concerned, because it's not something that I would take too serious, but it is fun to hear. And next up, we've got Styx with Come Sail Away, Come Sail Away with Me, yeah. And this is the original 45 edited version. You'll notice that it runs 3 minutes 10 seconds. The album version runs 6 minutes and 7 seconds. It's got a whole nother verse at the beginning on the album version and an extended synthesizer part that got cut out to edit it down for the single version. So this is a fun listen, especially if you like Styx or big Styx fan, or you just like the song Come and Sail Away. The 45 version is considerably different than the album version. And that's the version that I knew well. I got this, this is my actual 45 from when I was a kid. So back in 76 when it came out, I bought this very piece of plastic right here. The B-side being Put Me On. And I heard this version on the radio, bought the 45 and had it before I bought the 8-track. Yes, I was into 8-tracks then. And heard the 8-track version. I was like, oh wow, it's a whole lot longer on the 8-track. So I remember it being quite an issue for me. This one and Kansas's Carry On Wayward Son were two that really stood out to me as noticeable, having heard the 45 version and knowing them, and then getting the album and hearing a different, longer, extended version. Unlike Kiss with Detroit Rock City, where I had the album and knew the album, and then got the 45 years later and heard it and said, oh, good Lord, you know, kind of like Iron Man from Sabbath, too. That's a hacked up 45 for you, especially if you're used to the album version and know the album version. But moving on here, we've got Queen of Spades, another Styx song, another great Styx song, off of Pieces of 8. I didn't point out, but Come Sail Away was from The Grand Illusion, and the B-side Put Me On was from Crystal Ball. And we discussed this numerous times, especially A&M love to promote 2 albums on a 45 release. So a lot of their stuff, their Carpenters releases, their Styx releases, ELL I don't think was on A&M, but they had a tendency to do this as well, where they would release songs from different albums on a 45, and it's common. So here we got Queen of Spades from Pieces of 8, and Sing for the Day, also for Pieces of 8, which is not common for Styx 45s. Usually they will have, at least the original ones that came out originally, they will have songs from 2 different albums on them. Oh, we've got a few Styx to look at here. The next one being a reissued version of Renegade. And you'll see it's a Forget Me Nots. That's a dead giveaway. That was their re-release label. I do have an original Renegade somewhere, already covered it in the Mixed Boxes video. But the B-side is still Sing for the Day. So I'm not sure what the original B-side was on Renegade without going and finding the copy and pulling it out. But it wasn't Queen of Spades, I can assure you of that. So Sing for the Day wasn't one of my more favorite Styx songs either. So why they kept promoting that song and pushing it is beyond me. But teach their own. Babe, being from the Cornerstone album, 1979, is our next 45 here to look at. And the B-side of it was a song called I'm Okay, and you'll see it's off of Pieces of 8. So we're back to, like I said, especially when you've got these kind of silvery and tan A&M logo labels. They're the original ones that came out originally when the songs first come out. So now we've got a picture sleeve here of Styx, The Best of Times. I actually have this vinyl album that's laser cut with the picture off the cover being lasered into the grooves of the album. It's pretty cool. I'll have to dig it out sometime and see if I can film it to show it off. But this is interesting that it's got the front and back of the album, gives you both the gala premiere, and then once it had, had its day and was deteriorating, which was kind of the theme of the album. But here we've got the label, The Best of Times, off of Paradise Theater, with the B-side being Lights, off of Cornerstone. So there you go again, with two different songs, two different albums. Styx A&M. Next up we've got the another copy of The Best of Times that wasn't in the picture sleeve, and it still has the exact same B-side. So next up we've got Sugarloaf, Green-Eyed Lady, Lovely Lady, and the B-side, West of Tomorrow. Now I don't know Sugarloaf from any other song than Green-Eyed Lady, but that sure is a great song. I really like that song and really happy to have it in the collection. It's one of those you can throw on for at least people from my generation and definitely spark some memories. So the gold standard RCA sleeve there with Saturn. And the vinyl in that sleeve is the Safari's Wipeout, which is an instrumental. I'm sure you probably know it. I'm not going to try and hum it for you, but it's clearly marked as A-side, and it's a Goldie's 45, which is clearly a reissue, so this is not the original as it came out. And on this particular copy, the B-side was Surfer Joe, which was another good song of theirs that you probably would recognize if you heard it. But it's clearly marked as the B-side, so I love it when they clearly mark the A's and B's for us. It's nice to not have to guess at them. But Surfer Joe, Wipeout, and that wraps up episode 44. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you come back for episode 45. We'll see you then.